Hey, and welcome to another installment of Catching Up with Chris, Jake, and Sam. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
And it's good to be back in the studio, not stuck in a car in the middle of winter weather.
Yeah.
How's your guys' week been since that little snow day?
You know, not so bad. What was it, like a day after the snow, or a couple days after the snow, we had got kind of hit with another installment of it.
Oh yeah.
And like some freezing rain and whatnot. And I was silly enough to go out on the roads. I took my friend Cassie and met up with my friends Robbie and Anna to see Phantom of the Paradise in theater,
Cool.
which, as I have tried to tell you guys, is one of the greatest movies ever made. Brian De Palma's best film, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
A big inspirational part of Daft Punk's formative years.
And and speaking of Daft Punk, Paul Williams, who is featured on Random Access Memories, is one of the leads in the movie and wrote all the music for it back in his heyday of being disco and drugged out.
Yeah, before he showed up on Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah, or on Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah,
Also writing a bunch of the Muppet songs.
Yeah,
His when Daft Punk won Album of the Year for Random Access Memories, obviously they didn't speak, and he had the best kind of like speaking for them. He was like, I used to be like strung up on drugs and all this other kind of stuff, and life was a haze, and then I got up and got sober, and then immediately get a phone call from two robots asking me to make music with them.
it's always one of my favorite bits, and I even mentioned that to my friend Cassie as we were leaving.
Yeah,
trying to be like, hey, you know who that was?
Well, the cool thing about just to piggyback on the Daft Punk thing, the song "Touch" on Random Access Memories is one of the songs, the song that he's featured on vocally, but he helps write lyrics on some of the other songs too. The beginning of the song, the voice, he's saying "touch," and kind of saying some of the lyrics, and it's phasing in and out with kind of electronics and this. That's a nod to the movie when they're trying to find his voice, because Guy-Man and Thomas, when they were kids, like they saw that movie 10, 15 times in the theater. Like they loved it. Like that was one of their favorite movies of all time. So there's cool little nods to that movie on the album.
If I ever have the chance to meet them, I'm totally gonna get them to sign my copy of the DVD.
Phantom of the Paradise.
Yeah, because
See that in Tron Legacy.
Yeah, as you guys know, I like to get celebrities to sign weird things. Like I got George Takei to sign season 2 of Community because he did voiceover on 1.
Today.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, man, we should be there.
Yeah. We should interview. He'll be at AwesomeCon DC in May though.
Yeah, I should steal Zach's portable audio recorder and interview him.
Yeah. I'd be all for it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, while you were doing that, I think while you were venturing to go to this really cool theater and see one of the awesome 70s
Oh yeah,
films.
it was the Alamo in Ashburn. For anyone that's curious, it's a very cool theater.
Mm-hmm.
The most we did is get like lots of Chinese.
Okay, yeah. So, in the second round of the snowstorm, that was the most recent snowstorm, which I feel like was worse, happened, and Sam and I had this like kind of tradition. Not really, because it's only the second year, but it's got to start somewhere, I guess.
Yeah.
The first year, I remember we were.
You've solidified it as a tradition.
There we go.
Now that you've done it twice.
We started a year ago, and we were really hungry. I didn't plan ahead.
And snowed in.
And I remember we had this kind of conversation where like, are we assholes if we have like someone deliver to us?
Though last year we did.
We did. But I feel like we met them at the bottom of the hill though.
Yeah, and we tipped the shit out of them.
Yeah. I feel like, and I still owe you for this go around, by the way. But
just buy me Whiplash on Blu-ray or something.
Okay. I'll just buy 2 copies tomorrow, but I love this fucking movie.
It's so good.
Yeah.
No, because Anna owes me because she got Chinese this time too, and I'll just have her get Big Hero 6 for me.
There you go. All right, 2 copies of Whiplash coming up. And that's how we do. Our currency is movies and DVDs and coffee.
It's much more stable than the American dollar.
Who wants actual money? So this year, it was really bad, and I remember we were kind of like, Sam, because the comic shop I work at actually closed early, at like 1:30, and so I come home and he comes up and again we haven't really thought this out because I have like really no food to eat, and Sam comes up to me and he's like, so do we do that again? Do we have them deliver at the bottom of the hill and just tip the shit out of them? I was like, I don't know, man. Like, it's really bad. Like, because like I feel like last year it had stopped snowing and it was just shitty outside, but it was still coming down. Like, it was snowing and then sleeting on top of that, like into the wee hours of the night. And so like, well, we'll think about it. And we go and do whatever we do the rest of the day. And I get a text about like 6:30 from Sam. And keep in mind, when I say text, he's in the basement and I'm on the second floor. That's how we roll, right?
Yeah, that's what we do here.
Yeah. You're sitting right next to me, and I'd probably text you. And so he texts me and he's like, "You feeling stupid?" And I looked down, and my parents had bought like a bunch of Girl Scout cookies, and they had given like a box to me or whatever, the peanut butter chocolate ones. And I was like, yeah, I'm starting to feel pretty stupid because, like, I'm
You're high on the Girl
Well,
Scout
I was like, I got 5 cookies left, and that's not gonna last me,
I'm no good at rationing.
Yeah, I'm no good at rationing these.
Yeah, but because I didn't want to I didn't want to put a delivery man in the risks that I myself wouldn't face, just like Clint Eastwood in the Eiger Sanction. So I invoked Eiger Sanction Rules.
Eiger Sanction Rules from here on out. When it comes to that, so Sam writes back and he's like, "Chinese food stupid?" And I was like, I just like ran downstairs and I was just like, the best kind of stupid. And then I remember, we're gearing up, getting ready to go. And Sam, I remember, calls them first because, we're not that dumb. We're going to make sure they're open first. And I can kind of hear the lady on the phone. And then Sam was actually on the phone with her. And I guess the thing was like, you asked, just checking to see if you're open. And the lady was like, yeah, like, oh my God, these fuckers are going to make us drive have one of our.
She remembers us from like last year.
Yeah, one of our delivery boys risk his life to give them fucking Kung Pao chicken, which I don't think any of us actually got. But, and Sam was like, okay, good. Like, we're order for pickup or a carry out. And she was like, oh, fuck yeah, order away. And so we order a feast, like a freaking feast. And
it took me like 3 days to eat it all.
Jesus. Yeah, so a feast. And so we're going up and we're getting ready to leave. One of our roommates is like, we're like, "You guys going out?" And we were just like, "Yep." And they're like, "You're stupid." And I wanted to be like, you can only call us stupid if we don't make it back. If we make it back, we're fucking heroes.
Pioneers.
Yeah, it's like going for it on 4th and 1. If you don't make it, then you look like an idiot. But if you make it, they get to the first down, you're a genius.
Was Neil Armstrong stupid? Was
No.
Alan Shepard or Yuri Gagarin stupid?
No. And they didn't even have Chinese food when they got back.
No.
We brought back Chinese food. And so we get in my car.
You had spoils.
That's right,
before.
exactly right.
Was Clint Eastwood stupid in the Eiger Sanction?
No. Not at all. The Eiger Sanction Rules. That's just like a How I Met Your Mother thing, like Eiger Sanction Rules. And so
I shall invoke the
Eiger Sanction. And so the thing is, there was no upgrade to any kind of the vehicles we had because like Sam and I had the exact same car, so it didn't matter who drove really, and it came down to the fact that less cars would have to move if I drove. So I'm totally fine with that.
On the street.
Yeah, totally fine with that. And I already driven today. Seen what it was like out there. And so we get out there and we kind of slide around, and no danger really. I mean, we get there fine. There's nothing weird out of the way, and it's only like what normally like 10 minutes.
Tops.
Yeah, and it was maybe like 15 with the ice, and there wasn't that many people on the road because most people are smart. And so we picked the food up, and I remember Sam walked in because he didn't give him a name. We just walked in, and you were like, "We were the feast," and the lady was like, "Oh," and like just like sent one of the kids in the back to come back with like one bag that was like heavy as actual heavy as shit. We had to carry it from the bottom, and then like a bag of egg rolls, like a bag of egg rolls.
Yeah.
And so we're like, oh, and we get it back, and I remember we were leaving, and I was like, "Hey Sam, the good news is if we like slip off and like end up in a ditch, we're not going to starve to death. We got plenty of food."
Yeah.
So
we don't have to invoke Donner Party rules.
Donner Party rules are not the best kind of rules to have, and
it's the worst kind of party.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's probably the worst kind of party you can have, and so we make it back, of course, and then the only thing to do to add to the Chinese food feast on a snowed-in day in year 2 of a tradition with Eiger Sanction Rules is the now mandatory part that we couldn't do last year, which is added, is Batman 66 on Blu-ray because it's Batman 66 on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I picked it up like 3 weeks ago or somewhere thereabouts, and we're still working our way through. Because we're talking like 60, shows in the 60s. Nowadays, you're lucky if a full season's is around 20, 24 episodes.
Yeah, that's again lucky.
And that's a full season from like September to May. Now, I mean, back in the 60s, like the first season of Batman was a mid-season replacement, and it ran for 34 episodes.
Yeah, 34 episodes. Like, I'm trying to think.
They also it was like not quite weekly. Like, you know, they had like 2 2 episodes a week.
And and it's only like, you know, 25 minutes a pop.
Yeah, like if you're looking at a show nowadays that's like, you know, like a daily show, like, you know, kids cartoons or something like that, they have like 60 episode seasons.
Oh yeah, the first season of Batman the Animated Series was like 65 episodes.
Yeah, so that they could get to syndication even if they got canceled after the first
They knew.
season.
They were like, we need to do this.
Well, the original He-Man in the 80s, the cartoon, that has like an insane amount of episodes, and I think it lasted like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But so Batman 66, we got a ways to go, but like holy shit, the quality of the Blu-ray is like it like almost looks like live television.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's unreal. And
it's because they shot that on 35 millimeter film, and then for this Blu-ray release, if I remember correctly, they went in and like corrected a lot of the graphic, you know, like the pow and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a good transfer.
Yeah. And it's
I
just
think they even like color corrected it like better. I want to say I saw side by side comparisons of like, you know, the original Air TV shows and then what's on the Blu-ray, and it's.
I mean, it's just it's a lot of fun. I mean, you know, we all enjoyed it as kids, but you know, Sam and I have been talking about it. Like, I think we enjoy it now more than we ever did.
I think a lot of the haters don't realize that, one, Batman comics in the 60s were basically that.
Yeah.
And two, they knew going in it would be like a theater of the absurd.
Yeah. I mean, someone coming up to you and saying, oh man, Batman 66 is so silly and stupid, and
some people
funny.
have since I've been like, I picked it up.
Yeah, and it's like that's not a like. Yes, it is. That's the point. Like they are in on the joke. You know what I mean? Like
Vincent Price is the egghead.
Yeah. The freaking King Tut is one of the craziest villains you'll ever see. A man who becomes King Tut because he is hit on the head in a student riot while being a professor at Yale and becomes obsessed with Egyptian culture.
I mean, haters gonna hate.
Yeah, haters gonna ain't. But
they hate us because they ain't us.
And remember when everyone was obsessed with the interview? But
glad we got over that.
Yeah, you know, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, no, it was a good movie. I liked it.
Whatever. It was fair.
Yeah. It was.
I haven't seen it.
A movie.
Oh, really? You haven't seen it?
It's free on Netflix now.
I see it on Netflix.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. I think it's.
I love James. I mean, it's James. I love James Franco.
Yeah, it was. I did not feel cheated out of the $5 that I spent.
No, not at all.
But yeah, Chinese and
Batman. So next year, gang, you know, keep an eye out.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I did also do another exciting thing during the first installment of the Snow this week. Like quite literally, the morning after we recorded the last episode, I was at Reagan National Airport.
Oh.
Yeah, because my friend Nicole, who you met because she was up here, Jake.
Yeah, stop by the comic shop.
Yeah,
which, it was like the craziest time because like the books were late, and it was like 2 days wrapped up into one.
Yeah,
so it was a heck of a day.
Yeah,
but yes, you guys stopped by the shop.
So I was originally supposed to fly down to Nashville, Tennessee, to meet up with her and Nick Thune and a couple other comedians because she was actually managing, tour managing for their comedy tour that they just wrapped up, and she needed someone to help her drive their rented RV back up to Boston because otherwise she was going to be all alone for a 17-hour drive, and she had no intention of doing that. And I was like, I don't do anything the first half of the week. Like my job is all, you know, Thursday through Sunday, essentially. So I was like, I will, you know, I'll come. You know, so like Nick paid for a plane ticket for me to go down to Nashville, and then he paid for a train ticket for me to come from Boston back here. And the snow was so bad that their show in Nashville got canceled, and they just stayed in Atlanta where they had been like the night before the Nashville show. Mm-hmm. So luckily my plane went from DC to Atlanta, and then I had a transfer to get to Nashville. So they were like, "Oh, just don't take the transfer. Just come hang out in Atlanta, and then you'll have an extra day to drive the RV back." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, that's fine." So I'm at Reagan, and I'm there for like 2 hours, waiting to find out what's going on with my plane, because every single plane is getting canceled.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Because the weather is so bad. Finally, I get a text from Delta, because I had signed up to get text notifications for my flight. Text saying that it was canceled and they're going to try to rebook me on a later flight. And so I'm telling Nicole about this, keeping her up to date. They send me another text saying, so my plane was supposed to be at noon. Mm-hmm. I was going to get to Atlanta at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, however long it takes to get to Atlanta. I get a text from Delta saying that the next possible flight that they could put me on leaves DC at 7 p.m. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wait at Reagan for that long. I text Nicole.
You
She's
text
like,
back Delta no, and then the emoji face, like frowny face,
it's
frowny face.
just the emoji for poop.
Yeah, there you go. Which is always smiling, which is weird.
Yeah. Smiling is shit-eating grin.
There you go. Okay. There you
go. But yeah, so I text Nicole that, and she's like, fuck it, I'm just going to start driving now. And I was like, cool, you can crash at my place tonight, because it's going to take her about 10 hours to get from Atlanta to here. You can crash at my place tonight, and we can, drive the last, 7 hours to Boston together in the morning. And so she does that. We hang out. The next morning is when we come to the comic book shop to see you. Mm-hmm. Because she finds out that we can't return the RV early. So she's like, oh, great. So I have a day to kill because, like I said, we had started the trip early, So we're just wandering around Fairfax for a day. We saw Big Hero 6 at University Mall, which is great because she hadn't seen it yet.
Oscar-winning Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
We'll touch on the Oscars in a second.
Yeah. But then, so
Sam's like the friendly little reminder that pops up, like, don't worry. Yeah.
I'm pop-up video, man.
You're like the like on the TV show, like in the corner. It's like, coming up.
I'm the sign language guy.
You're the robot that pops up during football games.
Yeah.
The Fox Sports robot.
You know what it's called?
No.
Cletus.
Okay.
So it's Cletus the robot. Like,
it's neat. Yeah. But so then stupidly we don't sleep. Because why would you want to rest up extra? Because after we had decided, okay, we'll just leave here at 10 p.m., get to Boston in the morning. That sounds safe. Why would we nap ahead of time to make sure that we're well rested for that? So we get out on the road and we go in shifts. It's an RV, so they have beds in the back. She sleeps while I drive. I sleep while she drives. Back and forth. But at one point, I'm driving and I'm like, I am seeing double. Like I'm starting to fall asleep or whatever, and she's fast asleep. And so I pull over to the side. She kind of wakes up and I'm like, it's fine. You keep sleeping, because she's only been sleeping for like half an hour at this point. And we were going in like 2-hour shifts. I was like, keep sleeping. I just need to lay down and sleep because I'm about to fall asleep at the wheel, and that's not cool.
Yeah.
And also we were like an hour ahead of schedule. So whatever. We get to Boston, and Boston is a shit show.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of worse than anywhere else in the country.
Like, the roads, for the most part, were cleared off, but there were snowbanks on the side of the roads, taller than me. 2-lane roads are reduced to 1-lane roads, because the snowbanks are that big that they're spilling over, and it's just hell. It takes us forever to check in the RV because... just because renting vehicles sucks, and they're always trying to gouge you with like, oh, you didn't sweep up underneath the table, so we're gonna have to charge you a cleaning fee for the entire thing, and shit like that. And then our train back, we're taking the same train because she's going back to New York City. I'm coming back here. So we're taking the same train. The train's like an hour late because of the cold. And it's jam-packed because all the other trains have been canceled, so everyone's been put on our train. Oh, God. But made it home in time to get to work, which literally means, like, I ran into work 15 minutes late. So I didn't get to actually be home until, like, 3:00 in the morning, where I had technically been awake since 10 p.m. the night before, or whatever.
Yeah, that always blows. Yeah.
But it was fun, and there was a can of coconut water that Nick Thune had left on the bumper of the RV that survived all the way from Atlanta to Boston.
Well done, Thune. Well done. The mighty Thune.
Yeah.
I mean, something that me and Chris did also this past week, like I kind of alluded to. So one of the local high-end movie theaters was doing a kind of a pseudo red carpet Oscars party, kind of. And so we got to kind of trip the light fantastique and walk the red carpet, do very kind of like dumb poses, and we got to jump into a photo booth and do more dumb poses.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to watch the entire Oscars on the big screen, which was cool.
Complete with commercial breaks.
Yeah, yeehaw. I have to say, let me preface this. Love Neil Patrick Harris, great performer. Loved him on How I Met Your Mother. I think he does a great job hosting the Tonys.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed a little out of his element hosting the Oscars.
Yeah, he seemed like after the big opening number, which is why you cast, why you hire Neil Patrick Harris for that kind of thing. 'Cause that's what the Tonys is, like that, and he's perfect for that. He's done it like 4 years in a row or something.
Yeah.
Maybe I maybe just made that up. I don't know, but
probably. Yeah.
The opening was really good. It was really strong, but then after that, it just seemed like every time he'd said a joke, he immediately just like regretted it and was like, God.
Well, I mean, the Oscars are written by like 20 people, and it's so weird to have that many writers for like a handful of like side jabs.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seemed like he, like you guys said, like it seemed like he was uncomfortable with almost every single joke that they were making him say.
And really, the host's duties really are done really after the opening act. I mean, after that, it's just kind of like your joke here or there and saying, oh, and next the presenter for blah, 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 and the presenters do everything,
and he presents the presenters.
Basically, yeah. I mean, hosting the Oscars is a difficult gig.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because you're not only, like, doing the awards for this past year's films, but you're also trying to, like, honor the history of American cinema and trying to, like, validate these new films as part of that pantheon.
Yeah.
So it's kind of this weird balancing act.
Mm-hmm. And then making weird, awkward black jokes about how Selma didn't get nearly enough recognition.
Honest to God, it didn't. I mean...
I totally agree. I'm more so commenting that those jokes were really like... I was like, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just kind of like, hey, Academy that's employed me. Yeah. How come you didn't, like, nominate David Oyelowo? And it's like, what? You're right. He should be up for Best Actor. Ava DuVernay should be up for Best Director.
Yeah. It's like that awkward, like... I'm totally going to make fun of myself so that no one else can make fun of me, but you're doing it after everyone has already finished making fun of you?
Yeah, kind of like, look, guys, I'm cool, too.
Yeah, yeah. Which was kind of how I felt about John Travolta's bit.
Oh, yeah.
And really...
Well, now he's got an entire... a year of new things he's got to live with.
Yeah, being creepily touching Idina Menzel on the face.
Going off the deep end.
Like kissing Scarlett Johansson.
I really, speaking of those things, him and Idina Menzel, I hope that like the fact that he was making jokes about it kills the whole Adele Menzel or whatever the fuck.
Again, he's got a whole new set of stuff to...
Good, yeah.
Did you see that picture someone posted of Spock... grabbing Captain Kirk's face, and it was saying, like, John Travolta saying hello.
Oh, doing the Vulcan death grab from the Enterprise instance.
Yeah, I mean,
episode 2.
You're like, okay, you're going to make a joke, and that's one of the ways that you can, you make fun of yourself to help kill this kind of, like, thing that's been going on for a year, which is whatever. But then you just do something even weirder.
Yeah.
Either he's a genius or he's not. And I'm going to go with not, but it's just... Remember when John Travolta was, like, cool, man? Like, he was, like, the cool guy.
Yeah, like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, he was just, it's just really awkward.
I think it was that, like, dad movie that he made. Was that with Robin Williams?
Which one?
The movie where him and... I think
was it Wild Hogs, where he's like...
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen.
For me, okay...
Well... Keep talking. I'm gonna
here's the Travolta thing. There's Travolta pre-Battlefield Earth, and there's Travolta post-Battlefield Earth.
Yeah.
That's the dividing line.
Yeah.
But hey, Birdman, Best Picture.
Birdman.
Yeah.
Birdman.
As much as I think we're all Team Birdman, I am perfectly fine with Eddie Redmayne also getting Best Actor.
100%.
Yeah. Whiplash got its due.
Yeah, Whiplash won a good couple awards. I think like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I mean, if it wasn't for, it was what was the name of it?
Old Dogs.
Dogs
was the movie that John Travolta was in with Robin Williams that I was thinking of. But you know what? Old Hogs came out first, so
yeah. I don't know if that was like a companion piece. Spiritual successor.
It was like the Chris Farley, David Spade buddy road trip movies that weren't really related but were.
Yeah, there's 2 you get to choose from.
Sorry, go back.
But
Eddie Redmayne.
Oh, Eddie Redmayne. If it wasn't for Eddie Redmayne and Patricia Arquette, both Boyhood and Theory of Everything would have been shut out.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Theory of Everything won pretty much what I thought I was going to win for. I mean, it is a really good movie.
Really great score, too.
A great score. He does some really cool electronic music.
If you're not really listening, is just kind of layered.
Yeah. He did a song called, I think it's called This Is Not the End. And it was this, he does a lot of early stuff, symphonic work, but then he has this kind of like, almost like, it's funny enough, kind of the Stephen Hawking kind of robot voice over top of it, where they repeat a phrase the entire time, and it swells. Yeah. Swells back and forth. So check that out. So he's got some really cool early electronic stuff. So I was hoping he would win because the music was very good.
A lot more awards for I enjoyed the Grand Budapest Hotel, but I wouldn't have given it as many awards.
I mean, it won pretty much all the
technical,
fashion, production, visual stuff.
Yeah.
Which I mean, Wes Anderson's got a very distinct style, and he,
if there's anything it's going to win for,
and watching Grand Budapest Hotel, I mean, it's like. It's just this clear director, like, who knows exactly what he wants. You know what I mean? Like, there's never a moment where you're like, well, maybe he's trying something new. It's like
being 100% Wes Anderson.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just being Miley.
He just knows exactly what he exactly what he wants. And
not like I have a copyright on it.
Yeah. If anything, it's Miley Cyrus.
Yeah. much like how this sick beat is Taylor Swift.
Yeah. There's people that I think she predates us all. But those were the and of course Common and John Legend's performance in Glory.
God. That was the first time I had ever heard that song because I've still yet to see Selma, just like half of the the big nominee movies, but like. That was the first time I had heard that song, and I am so happy that was like my exposure to it because it was beautiful.
It's honestly, it rivaled. It was the best original song performance, and it rivaled the opening number for best set piece of the entire show.
Oh my God, it moved me like. They cut to the audience and
to Chris Pine.
Yeah,
single tier
single tier Chris Pine and the gentleman who played Martin Luther
King. Yeah, David Oyelowo.
I had forgotten his name, but and he was just in tears, and like I was like, I know. I'm feeling it too. Like I didn't quite get to that point where I broke a tear, but I was like,
that's good because Oprah wouldn't have been there to console you.
Yeah, I know, right? It would have been. Oh. And I would like to thank Oprah.
Yeah. She got a Lego Oscar though.
Yeah.
So Emma Stone. What? Totally honest. I think I would prefer the Lego Oscar.
Yeah. I know Steve Carell did.
Yeah. There was a great moment where they were showing Steve Carell, and in the background, Channing Tatum had the Lego Oscar, and he was just slowly putting it up over his shoulder, and then down, and then up, and then down. It's kind of funny. But
Sam was very vocal about how he did not care for the idea of Foxcatcher winning any awards.
Yeah.
And so like every time it would pop up, I would be like, what?
And then anytime like Wes Anderson popped up.
And then Sam was like, I can do it too.
And Sam probably had a lot more nudging to do because that won a lot more awards than Foxcatcher.
Well, luckily
which is to say if it won one,
it won one, but still.
Luckily for me, Sam was a much better sport about it and basically just did it once when I went like, ooh, and then like something for Grand Budapest Hotel popped up, and he was like, yeah, I could do it too, asshole. And I was like, Fair.
But yeah, before the show, me and Chris and our friend Zach pre-gamed at the movie theater's got kind of a bar where they were showing like Cool Hand Luke, which is awesome, and we were sitting there drinking and pre-gaming, and I'm going on. I'm just about like, hey man, it could be the best movie. Foxcatcher could be the best movie. But I never know because I'm never gonna watch it. Like just like this unnatural, illogical contempt for this film. Yeah. And the bartender's kind of quiet, and I was like, "Hey man, you see a lot of movies. You see Foxcatcher?" He's like, "Yeah, it was one of the best movies of the year."
It was great. Channing Tatum did a great job. Steve Carell did a great job.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo,
always good, always good job. Yeah.
Just like, oh, all right, cool. Foxcatcher, man, Foxcatcher.
Fuck Foxcatcher. You know what? But you know what? The Academy agreed with you.
Yeah. Take that.
Got blanked.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to the theory of everything. I would have loved to have seen Felicity Jones win because I love those like understated, quiet performances, and I thought she was fantastic in it. I mean, I knew she wasn't because like most Oscars, not a lot of surprises. Usually, you know exactly who's going to win. I mean, sometimes it comes down to like Best Picture. Usually, there's like two.
Does that take the fun away for you?
Not really. No, because it's still fun to see the interactions. It's fun to see the speeches. It's fun to see if there is an upset. You know, you never know for sure.
Yeah, and they do kind of like. I always love the sizzle reels they show from each of the Best Picture nominees.
Yeah, that's always cool.
I gotta say the speaking of Best Actress.
Yeah.
Which
is Julianne Moore, by the way.
Yeah. Like we have talked about, I haven't seen a lot of the movies that were up for nomination, but like the clips that they showed for the Best Actress category, I was like, fuck, I would hate to have to choose because they were all amazing.
Yeah.
Just those quick shots, but like all of them. I think maybe Reese Witherspoon wasn't as impressive, but it was because it was like a 2-second scene of just her going, "Nah!"
Yeah, I have to say, for the Best Actor picks, they maybe didn't pick the best like highlight.
No, they
when they got to like, I mean, I'm sure Steve Carell does a phenomenal job during.
We all love.
You'll
Steve
never
Carell.
know.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to.
Comes
watching
out on
it.
DVD next week, so you'll have your chance.
Is it digital already?
All of them come out next week. I feel like
Whiplash.
all of them are coming out like within the next week or so.
Well, Birdman and Boyhood are already out. So is Grand Budapest. This week, tomorrow, Whiplash comes out. Imitation Game doesn't come out until March. Theory of Everything's already out. Selma, I don't know when Selma comes out because Selma's still like it was a December. Well, it was a wide release.
And it's not even in second run theaters yet.
Yeah. Selma and American Sniper didn't even get wide release until January.
Yeah, American Sniper will be a bit. That movie made more than all the other Best Pictures combined.
Whiplash is the lowest grossing film to be nominated for Best Picture because it's only grossed like less than $10 million.
I mean, luckily it was pretty cheap to make.
Yeah, they made it on a $3 million budget.
19 days.
Yeah. They shot, edited, and submitted it to Sundance within 10 weeks.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I heard it was 19 straight 14-hour days.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think that was a really effective way to shoot it, too.
Well, the director wouldn't yell cut.
Well, both you guys have seen it, or for the most part.
Yeah. So I just started watching. Like, I got home from the Oscar thing, and I was like more motivated than I had been to see some of these movies because all I had seen was Birdman, and so I was like, all right, fine. Based on this, I know I have a huge drive to see Imitation Game, Whiplash, and Theory of Everything. And then, I got to check out Selma.
Me too.
And like, I'm this close to breaking on Grand Budapest Hotel. Like, I might actually watch it. Still not going to watch Foxcatcher.
It's got Adrian Brody probably has the most audacious opening line.
Yeah.
Of, I mean, I'm not even going to say what it is.
Good. Yeah, don't. I want to see if I can make it all the way to that line. Before I go, nope, too fucking Wes Anderson.
I mean, you'll probably if you're afraid of it being too Wes Anderson, you will be done.
It's the most Wes Anderson was.
I know you'll be done within 5 seconds.
I know that I like walked. I walked in to the living room. My mom was watching TV, and it happened to be the Grand Budapest Hotel. She had just turned it on. It was like maybe like 20 minutes into it already, and she was confused because she thought that there was something wrong with the TV because it's in that 4:3 ratio, and we have widescreen TV and we have HD cable. So she's like, "What's going on? Is there something wrong?" And I was like, "I don't know. This is a Wes Anderson movie. Knowing him, he did it on purpose, And like 5 minutes later, like I'm making something in the kitchen. 5 minutes later, I just hear her like give up, like very audibly give up on the movie. She's like, "I can't watch this." And she and I have very similar tastes in movies, so I would not be surprised if I can't make it through the whole movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, so I have the bigger motivation to see these movies. I watched Imitation Game. I'll get back to that, but I started watching Whiplash this morning, and it's almost an hour and 45 minutes, almost 2 hours. I have about 45 minutes left in the movie,
the entire third act.
Yeah, but I can't do it, and not because it's bad, but because it's so good, because
it's the most intense movie I saw
exactly
last year.
and it is fucking intense, and I was like, I need to step away, I need to calm down, I need to take my anti-anxiety pills, come back to it later.
J.K. Simmons screaming has
got you. It's Full Metal Jacket for jazz musicians.
Yeah, it's hurting, and I don't know if maybe it's because I'm also a drummer, and I'm feeling it, even though I never had a relationship like that with a conductor. But like,
if your drum teacher is J.K. Simmons, just slapping the shit out of you,
someone made a supercut where he's yelling at Lars Ulrich.
Good.
You should see it. I haven't watched it, but someone did it.
But
it's kind of a joke.
But no, it's amazing, and like the drumming is really good. Like I one of the things that made me so hesitant to watch it, again because I'm a drummer, I was like, the visual and the audio is going to be so out of sync because they're just going to be getting actors who don't actually know what they're doing, so he's just going to be like pantomiming the drums. But like for the most part, like it looks like he's actually playing what you're hearing.
Oh, he does.
Maybe not what you're hearing live, but like it looks like he's playing the part, like he actually learned the stuff that he's playing.
His drum fills, about 40% of it made the final soundtrack, but for all intents and purposes, he drummed the entire thing.
Like every once in a while, I'm like, oh, well, that wasn't a real snare hit, or whatever. But like, I'm still really impressed. Like this guy's drumming better than I drum, But that's also because I'm not a jazz drummer, Well, I
mean, he comes from a musical family. Like everyone in his family plays multiple instruments, and he'd been playing it for years and years. Yeah. And like Sam had said, I had recently seen it. I was bummed because Sam was saying a couple of weeks ago that they put it back in theaters, and that was a movie I really wanted to see in theaters. I had heard about just the name Whiplash for a long time when it was starting
sounds
up.
Really good in theaters. Too.
Oh yeah. And then when Sam saw it and I kind of found out more what it was about, I was really interested in it, especially to see J.K. Simmons because we all love J.K. Simmons. And I knew very little of Miles Teller. Like, I'd seen him here and there and some things, and the only thing I really knew was that he was Reed Richards, the new Fantastic Four movie. And so I was bummed because I went to check and it had been taken out, but I guess I checked one more time in this past week, maybe because the Oscars were starting up the week before. They put it back in. So I rushed after work one day to go catch it in theaters, and like every year there are movies that come out, obviously, that that I love. I could come up with a top 10 list of my favorite movies, no problem. But there's very few years where movies come out that I know are going to stick around, like that are going to surpass the top 10 list, surpass the Oscars, and it'll just be movies that I will always go back to and want to watch over and over again and take me on this like insane journey of a character. This year was two. There were two of those movies, and that was Birdman and Whiplash. And Whiplash, I was telling Chris before we started, my favorite character arc of any character this year was the Miles Teller's character in Whiplash. I loved it. And he's one of those guys where like it's between the Hickman Fantastic Four and seeing that, I was like, bring on Fantastic Four, man. I'm gonna see what he can do. Like this movie's made me a huge fan of Miles Teller because it is like a super bold performance, and he's in every scene. He's in every single scene of the movie.
It was a shame that he didn't get
he should have got some
real award nods.
Yeah, he should at least been nominated. He's fantastic in the movie. I mean, of course, all props, everything to J.K. Simmons. And I remember someone had made a tweet about like J.K. Simmons was really the lead in the movie, and I was like, no, he wasn't though. It was Andy's story. It was Miles Teller's story.
Yeah,
and And like the fact that he is playing drums and he's bleeding, like he's bleeding
Literally,
in real life,
like,
literally
bleeding.
bleeding. The director would not yell cut, so he would just keep going. I mean, you could just see the absolute like just the sweat and the pain on their faces. There's no acting involved in that, and I've always said, I've never been a fan of drum solos, but like the big like bloated arena rock drum solos where it's all about spinning upside down and playing just to fill.
Sorry, Travis.
Yeah. Well, sorry, Peter Criss and Joey Jordison and all those other guys. I mean, they're great drummers, but that stuff does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. I love watching people play drums. I think it's just so much fun to watch a really great drum like Mike Portnoy.
Sure.
I love watching Mike Portnoy play drums. Like he does these drum videos. But watching jazz drummers, and there's a lot of the history of jazz drumming is in Whiplash, rightfully so, and watching like those jazz drummers play and watching Miles Teller play and the other drummers in the movie. There's a lot of drummers in the movie.
Yeah, at least 3.
Yeah, I mean that's an art form. Like that is why that is drumming at its purest and at its most beautiful is that. And that's where a solo like that exists, and it is something that you want to see, and it makes sense. It's like seeing a really great acoustic guitar performance. Like that's what it means to be solo. It's not about shredding. It's not about doing crazy, amazing fills. It's about making it an instrument. And as corny as it sounds, making the drums like sing, and that's what Whiplash does. And so yeah, I had a Chris Nolan moment where I sat in the theater. Like, no one was trying to get past me, after like Interstellar. But I just sat there and I was like, Jesus Christ. When the movie ended, I was just absolutely blown away by it.
Yeah.
Very similar to how I felt when Birdman was done.
Yeah.
I was just floored. And Birdman...
Well, I remember walking out of Birdman. One, we've got like the douchebag like fratty guys coming out. And I was just like, you're douchebags. And just kind of like sitting there in the hallway outside of the theater just being like, that was really good.
Yeah. Usually we're always like,
Oh yeah, I was usually like, thoughts, Mr. Mosley.
Yeah, thoughts, Mr. Mosley. Or the will you buy it, or we'll give it the honeymoon phase. But I remember like, fuck the honeymoon phase. Like that's one of the best movies I've seen in the theaters like ever for Birdman. And Whiplash I'd put up there too, man. Whiplash, fantastic movie.
Yeah, Whiplash,
absolutely loved
just
it.
like everyone in the theater just snapping to attention like the band.
Oh yeah,
because you have to.
Yeah,
it's like you were saying. It's like that first half of Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
Or it's like any like sports, like intense sports film, like Any Given Sunday, but with competitive jazz band.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
It's
most intense ride.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So then I also watched Imitation Game.
Yeah. I saw you like on Facebook just knocking these movies out. I was like,
Yeah.
Chris is doing his homework, man.
Yeah. Oh, well, like so yeah, it was on my short list of things to watch, and then after watching the Oscars, I was like, okay, yeah. Now I'm really inspired. I got to see it. And I got to say, like, that was a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
Like, again, very, very moving. It wasn't nearly as intense as Whiplash,
No.
but almost just as, like, emotionally, great. Like, I was in it. Yeah. I was there. I was feeling it. I was so, like, I think that was another reason why I needed to step away from Whiplash, because I was already, like, so, like, down
go
from
back to
Imitation Game. Like, because it's a downer. It's a great, it's a great movie, but it is a downer.
Yeah, if you know anything about what happened to Alan Turing,
and
the guy that basically created the basis for computers, and what his nation did to him,
like I knew what like the general story was, but like it was heart-wrenching to watch it.
Would you say that's like Benedict Cumberbatch's greatest performance?
I hadn't thought of it, but now that you've said it, yeah, the definitely better than him in Star Trek, and yeah, I gotta say, like he does a better job than he does on Sherlock, which is not to say that he does a bad job. It's just that's how good Turing is.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever a clinch for Best Actor, but that's his best performance, and he's no slouch of an actor.
Yeah, no.
But
he also rocked the white tux too.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
he was looking good.
Yeah.
Also brought in a flask.
Yeah, that was great. It was just like the look on his face. But he always rolls those punches. He seems like such a.
Well, I feel like that was set up.
Oh, definitely.
yeah. But yeah, he's a good sport.
Yeah, always kind of like in kind of contrast to his more neurotic characters. He's always
he always plays very intense, very serious characters, and he seems like almost like a goofball.
Yeah, very
in real
warm. Life. Yeah. Yeah. So would you say what Theory of Everything is up next, or finishing Whiplash?
I don't know.
Theory of Everything is a great thing to follow Imitation Game with.
Yeah.
Because it
drove my buddy John to tears.
Did it really?
Yeah.
I actually wanted it to be to go Imitation Game, Theory of Everything, and Whiplash, but I couldn't. I wasn't able to procure a copy of Theory of Everything as easily as the other movies.
Gotcha. I mean, they're both Whiplash. Nice. They're very similar in terms of about a portraying a wonderful and extraordinary man. Both movies, Theory of Everything and Imitation Game. So yeah, those are movies that I think are very.
They're like companions.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. That's how I kind of felt having watched both of them within a relatively short span of time.
Yeah, mine was. I saw Theory of Everything like opening night.
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving. And so it's been a while. I haven't watched it since.
And then we saw the Imitation Game way back the weekend where my basement first flooded.
The second time it flooded.
Yeah.
We were just like, you want to go watch Imitation Game? I was like, yeah, just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Imitation Game is great. I mean, me personally, I still have to see Boyhood. I still need to see Selma. Boyhood, it's weird. That was the one movie where there's no mix with that one. People either seem to really love it and be like all in that movie's corner, or really dislike that movie.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thought on it, if I may jump in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm leaning towards the against it side.
Okay.
I guess you could say, like, it's a really cool novelty concept to shoot it over the course of 12 years, and that's really cool. And all of us, at one point in our lives, thought that that's how you shot movies. We didn't understand getting multiple actors for like different ages and stuff like that. But like beyond that, it looks like it's just a standard coming of age kind of story. Like, it looks like that's the only hook to it, and that just wasn't enough to like grip me into it. Like, I'm sure it's a fine movie, just like Foxcatcher. I'm sure it's the best movie of the year.
Could be.
But I'm
good.
Call me. My friends call me Golden Eagle, or just Eagle.
You can call me John
or Coach.
You can call me Coach.
You ungrateful ape.
No, you're an ape.
Anyway, but like so that's my 2 cents. Like, it looks like just a standard kid grows up kind of movie.
Yeah, if you're looking for like some sort of big
like
hook.
Birdman.
Well, there's no big narrative moment. There isn't. Like, he doesn't. It's just a guy growing up.
Yeah.
Tolstoy wrote a book called Boyhood, which is honestly just a kid growing up. And in that sense, it's the same
also,
thing.
While we were at the Angelica, was where we saw it, I saw a poster for a movie called Girlhood.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, oof, Linkletter's going to sue somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
this movie took 13 years. No, I mean, I remember seeing the Best Supporting Actor clip, which is always weird. That's how they start the. I always forget every year. I forget that's how they start the freaking Oscars.
Well, they try to get. Yeah, it's the hook.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, here we go, and then J.K. Simmons sits for 4 hours. He can't party for another 4 hours. I mean, I guess he could. He go backstage.
Just bring in a flask.
There you go. Borrow Benedict's. They showed a clip of Ethan Hawke for it, and I've really come to like Ethan Hawke a lot. I've seen him in movies here and there, and I've always thought he was good and fine. But he did a great interview on the Nerdist podcast. He was really great.
Real down to earth guy.
Yeah. And he talked to really lovingly about the process of boyhood and just being an actor and just his career and everything. So he's probably one of the main reasons I want to check the movie out, just to see kind of.
I don't know if it still is, but it was on sale this past weekend for $10.
Oh, really? They had a massive Academy Award sale. I picked up King's Speech because.
Firth.
They're calling Firth. The Firth.
Firthathon.
The Firthathon. The birth of the Firth.
The Marifirth.
The Marifirth. I haven't watched it. I mean, I've seen
birthday.
Yeah. I've seen it before, but because of we had just seen Kingsman, I was like, yeah, $10, and I enjoyed the movie a lot. It was really funny. That scene where he drops the F-bomb a couple times was kind of funny, and then they cut it. They cut it so they can make it PG-13. Around the Oscar time. But anyway, overall I thought the Oscars were fun. I mean, it's every year gets longer,
I feel like, yeah.
They just keep going and going. Oh, we got to see what happens finally. Poland represent. We got to see what happens if you just outlast the playoff music. Nothing happens. They don't. It's funny. Like I remember, like he kept talking, and I was like, "Oh my god, we're finally gonna see what happens." Like the music's going and going, and the music just stopped, and I looked around, and I was like, "So nothing happens." He's like kept going, and I thought it was kind of funny.
I thought they were gonna cut his mic or something.
Yeah, you cut the mic, or you cut over Neil Patrick Harris, so they go to something.
Yeah.
Because they've done that a lot of times. I remember on I think they've cut a mic or cut to commercial. Like Frank Sinatra, I think, had like some kind of tribute that he was doing, and he was speaking for too long during some award ceremony, so they cut to commercial. And when they came back, Billy Joel was playing a live performance, and so Billy Joel was a fucking badass, was playing the keyboards, and he just stops in the middle of the performance, and he looks at the camera and he goes, "We got dead air right now. What are we gonna do?" And he just stares at the camera, and there's just silence. And you can just hear everyone was like freaking out backstage, like, "What are we gonna do, dead air?" And then he goes right back into playing the piano because he was so pissed that they would fuck over Frank Sinatra like that. Anyway, but going back to other
blue eyes.
Yeah, going back to other things and but yeah, and then that kind of became the reoccurring thing of the night. Like all the other the quote unquote smaller awards. It was almost like this, call to arms.
We can do it.
They saw that this
is our moment.
This Polish director outlasted the theme, the playoff music. They're like, fuck it, we'll just do that too. So after a while, everyone just stopped it.
Speeches were getting really long.
Yeah, everyone just stopped listening to the playoff music, and then as you got closer to the end of the night, they just stopped playing the music. They didn't even play the music anymore. They're like, whatever, this is going 30 minutes. It was supposed to end at 11:30. It went to at least 12. They're like, fine, just let them go. Yeah, it was for some reason that really cracked me up, just seeing him outlast the music, which is kind of funny. But I don't know. It's always fun to just kind of sit around and watch the Oscars. I watched it with my mom, and
I got a shout out during the thing.
Did you?
Yeah. Because the Interstellar won for one of the awards.
Oh, so now you're going to embrace.
Now he's going to embrace.
I told you, Interstellar brought it back.
Oh yeah,
it made it cool to also be named Christopher Nolan again.
Were you guys surprised that Interstellar got no love?
Yes.
I mean, outside of the award, but no noms really for.
I would have loved it to have gotten some awards, or some more nominations.
I think its nominations that it did get were the places where it was most deserving. Mm-hmm. Various sound design.
It's my favorite Zimmer score, probably.
Yeah,
I loved his score.
Hearing it, I still am like,
bring you right back.
Yeah.
Did you have any interest when they re-released it with 12 extra minutes in IMAX?
I was, and then
I'm sure
I
it'll
heard
be on the DVD.
Yeah, well, then I heard that the 12 extra minutes weren't actual 12 extra movie.
Oh, really? It was
because true to Christopher Nolan's form, he didn't cut anything.
Yeah,
or anything
that has to do with the film.
Yeah, so it's actually 12 minutes
the intro
of
the movie?
A featurette.
Hi, I'm Chris Nolan.
Exactly. It was
Welcome
like a little.
Interstellar.
It's more Dust Bowl interviews.
Uncut Dust Bowl interviews.
Yeah.
But it was a featurette, and I was like, oh. I don't need to.
12 extra minutes of McConaughey just floating in a black hole.
Yeah.
Murph, don't go, Murph! No,
Don't let me go! Don't let me go, Murph!
What the fuck is happening?
I will say, me and Chris won DVDs from the
really?
showing.
Yeah.
What you mean?
I won.
No movie I wanted.
Oh. Foxcatcher.
Oh.
No, they had a little trivia game that they were playing during the pre-show. Okay. Every commercial break, the manager would come in and ask some trivia questions, and if you got the question right, you got a DVD of a previous year's best picture.
That's kind of cool.
I got The Hurt Locker because I had been talking about it recently. I was I feel like I should check that out.
Yeah.
So wait, when you won, they were like, you can pick from these? Or they were
she had a bag.
Oh,
just kind of reached in and grabbed one.
Oh.
Yeah. Sam picked up $1 Million Baby and
Crash.
$1 Million Baby's good.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood, man.
I know.
Represent.
I'm aware.
It's a good one. Don't feel sad.
It's not. Well, have you seen the film? It's not uplifting.
I thought you were gonna you were saying you were gonna get I don't know,
Foxcatcher.
Well, I didn't know it was gonna be best picture stuff. I thought you were fucking get I don't know, some weird ass movie.
I don't know.
I got Rocky 3.
Yeah. Oh God, I would love. I mean,
Well,
even
Crash-
though I already own it, I would get 2. I would be like, yes.
Crash. I mean, Crash has taken on this role as like the most like overrated Best Picture winner of all time.
Yeah, it's not a poor film. Neither film is a poor film.
Yeah.
But it's not like I would
But
go.
it's not rich.
I wouldn't go out of my way to buy Crash or
Upper
Million
middle
Dollar.
Oh, really? Oh, I love $1 Million Baby.
Mm.
I own it, but it's not opened yet. I've seen it a bunch of times, but it's still
What a
sitting-
coincidence! Neither is my copy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a feeling it never will be.
Yeah.
But
like
you got Hurt Locker though. That's pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah. My question was pertaining to what's the actor's
Peter
name from
Finch.
Network? Yeah. Peter Finch and Heath Ledger both received what do they have in common about the Oscar, Best Picture or whatever, or Best Actor,
Supporting
actor.
Uh-huh.
One of these days I'll know what category it is.
Yeah.
But like what
Enough
do
to
they
get it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as she said Heath Ledger and Oscar, I was like, oh, it was posthumous. And then but I was like, but I don't know about the other guy. And then I heard Sam mutter under his breath, oh, they're posthumous.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, that's right, because
I feel like I
heard
muttered all of them.
You did. you well,
But that was like when we saw Indiana Jones.
There were
too.
a couple. There were a couple of them that you were just like, I know that one,
Yeah.
but you didn't say it. But you
Yeah.
were just like, but no one was answering, and you were like, I could have gotten this one.
Yeah.
It's
one of those
already
things.
had your DVD, so
Yeah,
you were
it's
like,
kind of like I'm not going to do this all the time.
yeah.
But I'm going. But if nobody raises their hand immediately, I'll do it.
Yeah. I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll
So
fucking do it.
If was there thinking back on the Best Picture ones? Was there one you were like, oh, I wish
I don't know. I don't know what else was in the bag.
But I mean,
Gladiator.
just like
I actually looked and I picked up the whole stack and looked through the. I'm trying to remember what the other there was.
Gladiator.
Yeah, there was one other that I was like, oh, maybe this one, Hurt Locker, and I can't remember what it was. I want to say it was around the same time, a year before, a year after Hurt Locker. But yeah. But I was
The
like,
Artist.
no.
I love that movie.
That was a good.
But
one.
I was like, yeah, and I've seen The Artist.
Argo.
I don't remember what it was, guys.
Let's just name all of them.
all the
just
Best
keep
Picture
naming.
winners,
Yeah.
from Wings to Birdman.
Yeah. Dances with Wolves.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
yeah. Braveheart,
Yeah.
Oh, actually, well, Braveheart wasn't, or was it? No,
Titanic.
I don't know.
But anyway,
yeah,
so
we'll go
The
on.
Eiger Sanction.
no, that movie never got
Yeah,
that
I
kind. I wish. I wish.
Well, it's funny. I explained to somebody real quick. Going back to that, I was telling somebody the story about what we
The
were talking
Eiger
about earlier.
Sanction?
Well, no, the Chinese food Eiger Sanction, Adam West story. And I told them about it when I was like, yeah, we had Eiger Sanction rules because and I started explaining why, and he goes, oh no, I know why. He's like, he's like,
It was the
The King's Speech.
oh, are you serious?
Yeah, the year after Hurt Locker.
There
It was
you
the
go.
King's Speech. Yeah,
Those are two good ones.
I looked at and I was like, but I've seen the King's Speech. I haven't seen Hurt Locker.
Ooh, Hurt Locker.
Yeah,
Fantastic movie.
because typically I don't watch war and combat movies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know why. They don't really do much for me. That's why I haven't seen American Sniper yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were saying you were explaining Eiger Sanction.
Oh, I remember. I was explaining to him. I was like, we Eiger Sanction ruled them, which means, and I started to explain what it means. He goes, oh, I know. I was like, yeah, okay, cool, good for you.
To be fair, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've just been rolling with it this entire episode. So
Okay, I'll for the benefit of Chris and everyone listening.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a handful of people that are listening that have no idea.
They're
as
like,
well.
why do they keep fucking? Is Eiger Sanction the best Clint Eastwood movie?
What
And the answer
is
to that
this?
question, of course, is yes. But
What is this?
It's the best movie about climbing he's ever.
What is this? Something from fucking Star Trek, the
Yeah.
original series?
the Eiger Sanction, a 1970s film starring and directed by Clint Eastwood. So he's a hitman that for this one target he has to climb the Alps, and he calls his hits sanctions, which is the term. And so he's called in for the Eiger Sanction, and Clint Eastwood was the studio insisted that he have a stuntman for all his rock climbing, mountain climbing scenes. And he's like, I'm not going to put a stuntman's life at risk for something I wouldn't be willing to do myself. So thus,
which is where we're not going to have a delivery man drive out in the snow when we could do that ourselves.
Yeah.
So hence Eiger Sanction
Gotcha.
rules.
Eiger Sanction.
And so I was trying to explain that. I was
I
like,
call that Napoleon rules because he famously said, something similar.
yeah, Eiger Sanction sounds cooler. Though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it's got Clint Eastwood in
Now
it.
that I know it, I probably
If
use
Clint
Eiger
Eastwood
Sanction.
directed a Napoleon movie, then fine.
Less French.
Yeah.
Vive la France. But the remember Vie de France, that cafe that used to be in Fair Oaks that served like pastries.
Where was it by?
It got replaced by Cold Stone.
Oh, really? Okay, I never went there. Then.
I remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure
I
I
never
know
went to it, but I know. Yeah.
Really
I
good
know
chocolate
I know that
croissants.
spot and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember there used to be like there used to be a Sam Goody.
Oh yeah.
There used to be a Saturday night matinee.
That was my father's favorite place in the entire mall.
Sam Goody or Saturday night matinee.
Both, either.
Saturday night matinee.
Both were his favorite one place.
That was that was a place where you
Singularly.
could find any movie. If it had ever been released on any kind of format, you would find it there.
You could probably find the Eiger
You would
Sanction.
definitely find the Eiger Sanction there.
Which is available on Vudu, by the way. If you've never seen the Eiger Sanction, buy it.
Yeah. Buy it. Get Chinese food and watch the Eiger Sanction.
My father actually owns the Eiger Sanction. I don't.
Yes.
Despite me just saying it multiple times this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we know what the name of the episode's going to be. I'm just putting that out there, guys.
Foxcatcher.
Oh, God, yeah.
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 Foxcatcher. I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, enjoy.
I remember when the first
Let me know, let
when
me
the
know.
first trailer came out, I was like legitimately psyched for it. I was right on.
I'm genuinely...
Yeah, I remember like the first trailer. I was like, oh wow, Steve Carell in a role that will surprise you. Like I like legitimately kind of wanted to see it, and then second trailer, and I was like, nope. Like actually, Sam and I both kind of like said at the bar, the aforementioned bar, like. I think I was the one that actually said this, more or less verbatim. But after seeing the trailer, like that was all I needed to see of that character. Like I don't need to see him play, that anymore.
Yeah.
He's got this weird staccatoed delivery he's got.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
can't take it. Honestly, the trailer just could poorly represent it. I just couldn't take it seriously. And it's my favorite comedy of 2014.
Yeah. The clip that they showed, or one of the clips that they showed, from I think Steve Carell's nomination made it look like a comedy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't
It was
feel
almost-
like this is supposed to be a comedy.
It was almost unfair to like show that scene because like
Yeah.
if you're gonna like show all props to Steve Carell for taking a role like that,
Sure, yeah.
But it's kind of unfair where it's like they play a scene where obviously that scene is played for laughs, assuming in the movie because he's just playing the unless the guy's kind of insane, but they could have shown like an actual super dramatic scene involving Steve Carell, and they went for the cheap laugh because it's Steve Carell, and like it was kind of like let the peers at least show 5 seconds of him like
Call
actually
me Golden Eagle.
yeah, actually like being intense and stuff, not this like kind of weird. Obviously, and, like people were laughing during the scene, which kind of sucks. And I remember they cut to Steve Carell and he kind of was like, "Fuck."
That's what they picked.
Yeah,
Sorry. Take it up at the studio.
yeah, that and what's his face yelling "Hail Hitler."
Oh, yeah.
Hail bloody Hitler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember they cut to him and he's almost like, "There's
what-
more to that movie."
Yeah.
and that scene is fine. I mean, it kind of like
Yeah,
that's
it's the big
what
payoff
that's a
scene.
big payoff scene. But they could have shown like a scene where like he actually was like in it,
Why don't they show the scene at the end of the movie when he's in tears with Keira Knightley?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one. That's
Yeah.
the for me. That's maximum Cumberbatch.
Because normally they fucking get it right
Is
on.
that his name?
Yeah, yeah.
Maximum.
Maximum.
Oh my God! Can that be his son's name?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
daughter? I'm not here to judge.
as Jake knows, I tend to call like whenever somebody they don't even have to be at the pinnacle of their craft. I just like whenever I saw Army Hammer in anything.
Uh-huh.
Maximum Hammer.
Yes.
Maximum Hammer.
Maximum.
And then I remember-
I remember True Detective.
Oh, Maximum Harrelson,
Yeah.
sure. But I remember when Jake walked out of Lone Ranger. I hadn't seen it with him, and he was like, "Dude," and I was like, "Minimum Hammer," and he was like, "Minimum Hammer."
Yeah. Most minimum. I remember that day that because for those of you who don't know, I'm like a huge Lone Ranger nerd, and so I was working in a call center at a different job. And it was Friday, and I was really psyched that it was, the weekend, and the Lone Ranger was out, and I had made a Facebook
You were
status.
just humming to yourself. Everybody's
Yeah.
working.
Yeah, I was humming myself to William Tell Overture,
Fair.
and
Makes more sense.
yeah, which is the the Lone Ranger theme. And anyway, I had made a Facebook status, and I was like, I'm doing it. I gotta see the Lone Ranger. Like, everything I've heard about it is terrible. The trailer looks stupid. Everything looks stupid, but I have to. I don't know why. As I have to support this Lone Ranger movie, and everyone was like, "No,
Just
what do you?"
remember, you always have a choice.
Yeah, I do. But I was just like, there's not going to be that many Lone Ranger movies in my lifetime, and good or bad, there's not.
And probably, unfortunately, because of that one, probably not going to be
because of
anymore.
that. I know, and that's seriously one of these. I was like, you know what? Even if there is like a 10-minute scene where they get it right, because here's how much of a fucking sucker I am for the Lone Ranger, right? So there's a scene in the trailer where, and I'm assuming Chris, you haven't seen. Have you seen the Lone Ranger? Okay. There's a scene in the trailer where a kid has a silver bullet, the famous silver bullet Lone Ranger uses to remind him all life is precious, and so the idea of like you only fire when you have to because it's this silver is this rich, precious thing, and so the kid throws a silver bullet at him, he catches it and he loads it in his gun, and then he does the famous pose where he leans back on Silver's horse, and it strikes the famous pose that kind of Zorro has too when he leans back on the horse and he take off his hat and yell "Hi-yo, Silver." I saw that, and there's a scene where the kids look up in the train and they look up at him doing that, and they had this look of like awe on their faces. That's what the Lone Ranger's all about, like this inspiration and being the best you can. He follows these set of rules. I was like, you know what? If they capture some of that, would be fine. I saw the movie and none of that. They really didn't do any of that. But the movie it starts off with like super old Tonto, played by Johnny Depp, like saggy, and he's just like talking to this kid about the Lone Ranger, and they kind of turn him into a goofball. I remember Tarantino like loved the end of it, and there are some cool moments. I remember like an old, either like a father or a grandfather took his kids were there, and the big climax at the end of the movie is like on a train where like Silver has like basically can fly as a horse, and they start playing the William Tell Overture, and he starts like kicking ass, and that was cool. And I remember the kids were like jumping along and stuff and having a good time. And if it gets out there that people actually want to, if it makes people interested in the Lone Ranger, that's cool because
they have their own Disney Infinity figures.
That's
now.
true, yeah. And the Lone Ranger had a miniseries that just ended, Lone Ranger Vindicated, written by Justin Gray from Jonah Hex fame, and which was very good. And it's been a cool thing for like pulp heroes in general. Like the Phantom has 2 series going on right now, like not just one. The Phantom has 2 series going on, which is really cool. And they're also bringing back Masks, which is like kind of like the Justice League of pulp heroes, which is kind of cool. But anyway, yes. So I saw the Lone Ranger when it was in theaters, and it was terrible, and it was very Minimum Hammer. And I'm glad that he's getting a second chance.
I remember because you had walked out of the theater and you're just like the Lone Ranger, and I was like Maximum Hammer, and you were like Minimum Hammer.
Minimum Hammer.
Yeah. What's the next thing he's?
Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah.
He's a great actor too. Like, and
back to Maximum.
Full overdrive. The thing that sucks is like the Lone Ranger cost more than the Man of Steel to make, and the Lone Ranger is about a fucking dude with no superpowers on a normal horse who fires limited bullets on purpose and rides through the Wild West, like the cheapest period piece movie you can make, really, unless you're doing the fucking Stone Age.
An environment that exists.
Yes. Yeah. Fucking High Plains Drifter, they built a town. Like, they could have just used that set over and over again, had him ride in circles and say it's a different town every time. Like, usually a Lone Ranger story is he rides in the town, saves the day, and rides off, and they go, who was that masked man? I don't know. And they play the William Tell Overture, and he goes, Hi-yo, Silver, and he fucking rides away. Also, when he says Hi-yo, Silver in the movie, which is like his fucking eye in the law, which is weird to put it that way, but it is. It's they play it off as this like joke where he says it, and Tonto's like, never say that again, and he's like, I'm sorry, that was really stupid, and I'm like, no, fuck you. Like the Brett Matthews did a great like Lone Ranger series in 2006, and instead of like shying away from it and making it sound like it's stupid, he like made it this like really beautiful moment about him honoring his brother. And he doesn't say it every time he jumps on Silver, but it's this moment where he says it because his brother used to say hi-yo, whatever, he would, as a thing of excitement, and he tries it thinking it's going to be goofy, and he does it in front of his nephew, who grows up to be the Green Hornet's dad, and the kid's like fucking blown away. He loves it. So I was just lazy shit in the movie. But I don't know, one day they'll make a fucking $5 million Lone Ranger movie and it'll rule, because
and it'll win Best Picture.
I mean, it's...
Has the superhero movie won Best Picture? Oh, I guess The Dark Knight.
It wasn't even up for...
No, that
Best
guy...
Picture.
It wasn't up for picture. No. No.
No.
No.
Not even The Shadow?
Not even The Shadow.
Oh, that's the worst of the pulp ones. The worst. The worst of the worst. Which is probably
Green Hornet?
No, but I mean like that the 90s, when the 90s were actually cranking out pulp
The
heroes.
Shadow, The Phantom, and
the Rocketeer and Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
It's funny because that probably led to me not wanting to ever really read much of The Shadow, but as a kid, like I remember even now I'm not like that super interested in like solo Shadow stuff. Like I know he's like the granddaddy of the pulp stuff. I mean, one of them.
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, that's one of the main problems with the movie is Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, I mean, The Shadow's alright. Yeah.
I mean, I liked it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Now, in terms of like heroes on film, we got our first look at what's going to be live action, the first live action Aquaman.
Technically the second, if you're a fan of Entourage.
Well, that doesn't count.
I kind of wish it did.
Yeah,
Based
I would
on the 30 seconds that they showed, I was like, I kind of want to see this.
I would love to see Jim Cameron direct a superhero film, and including an Aquaman film. But Jason Momoa, first official look, not leaked. If it's not a leak, if the director fucking does it.
Yeah,
he posted it like in the wee hours of the morning.
It wasn't even like look, it leaked. Here you go.
Yeah, it's just like, hey,
it was just here you go.
Yeah,
he's been cool about he posted the Batmobile, he posted the first shot of Ben Affleck in the suit and stuff, and so he's been cool about posting that stuff. But yeah,
what do you guys think?
It's cool. I mean, I love the updated look. I mean, I knew they weren't going for the more clean cut blonde hair look, which I'm fine with. Yeah. It wouldn't have made sense anyway. It would have probably looked kind of weird. But I like the tattoos and the kind of they got the armor and the more of the kind of king, regal kind of like don't mess with my throne kind of look.
Very much kind of like 90s Aquaman.
Yeah, he's
like Peter David Aquaman.
I mean, it's when you cast Jason Momoa to be Aquaman, that's what you want him to look like. You know,
this kind of like, Khal Drago, Conan the Barbarian, Aquaman.
Yeah, it looks very cool.
Yeah, I dug it. I was one of the people that was a little bit hesitant when he was first cast because I was like, I don't know, I don't know if I want I don't know if I want Khal Drago to be Aquaman. But then after seeing that shot, I was like, right, I'm sold.
Well done.
I mean, I can't wait to see like a first look of him like in action, but like seeing him visually, looks cool.
I'm totally down with it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But so hopefully, that'll be fine. And I think we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll get our first like trailer, or even a teaser of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice soon. Mm-hmm. So you guys got anything to add before we sign off?
No, go pick up some Best Picture nominees: Whiplash, Birdman.
Watch the Fury Road trailer.
Yeah. Totally.
Watch it again.
Yeah, along with a Man of Uncle, but a Man from Uncle.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll see you guys next week. Hope you dug the Oscars. Hope you're staying warm, and Bye.
Thank you very much.
Good night, Eric Bana.